So the other day I left the print running overnight and I came back to a complete mess. Just a rat's nest of filament all over the place. Apparently I ended up losing adhesion a couple hours into the print, and I was this close from crashing out when I saw the results. So I started Googling looking for a fix for my adhesion issues, and I thought I had finally found one. A fix that will resolve my adhesion issues, and I actually even found something that would also resolve some of the warping that I've been seeing in some of my prints. Or at least that's what I thought after picking up one of these BIQU CryoGrip Glacier plates. But after doing some testing with these things, the results didn't come out as planned. Let's get into it. So if you've been 3D printing for a while, then you've probably run into a similar issue. Corners lifting, prints failing halfway through, having warping issues, and somehow you've just burned through a ton of filament. A kilogram didn't seem like much to me when I first got into printing because I didn't sling and understand the metric system very well, but now it absolutely means a lot when these prints are failing halfway through. So when BIQU sent me these plates and told me to review them with no strings attached, I figured their confidence meant my issue was going to be easy to fix. They claim to be able to print things with better adhesion at lower temperatures, meaning less stress, which results in less warping and better adhesion. But that's what they claim. Real world's a lot different, and my results ended up varying a little bit. And no strings attached means they're probably going to regret having sent me these plates. But before we get into my testing results, let me explain to you why this plate is supposedly better. Normally, your printer relies on heat to get filament to stick to the plate. You heat the bed, the filament softens, and that's what gives you the adhesion. The problem is the heat also creates a temperature difference across the print between the different layers. The bottom stays hot and the top cools faster, and that's what creates internal stress on the print. And that stress leads to warping issues. So the hotter the bed, the better the print is probably going to stick to the plate. However, more warping you're also going to have. But what BIQU is doing with the CryoGrip plate is changing how adhesion works. Instead of relying mostly on heat to keep the filament stuck to the plate, this plate uses a different surface coating that's designed to grip filament at lower temperatures. So instead of needing to have a bed temperature of 60 degrees while you're printing PLA, you might be able to run it closer to 35 or 40 degrees Celsius, that is. This CryoGrip Glacier plate is also able to handle different types of materials to include PLA, PETG, I think TPU, and a few others. Even some higher temperature filaments without constantly having to require you to swap plates. And since it's still a spring steel plate with a coating on top, you get the same flexibility for removing prints. You can generally just bend and the majority of them will pop off like your standard PEI plates. So in theory, this should reduce thermal stress, which would resolve my warping issues while also still improving adhesion and make my prints more reliable. But that's just a theory. Let's see what my tests actually resulted in. And now I didn't just print one thing and call it a day. I ran multiple tests at different temperatures with different materials, all focused on warping and adhesion, and I compared everything directly to the stock Bambu textured PEI plate that's provided with the Bambu Lab A1 that I have. So I used the same printer with the same settings and same filament. I wanted a clear answer. So I started off with a basic first layer adhesion test. I printed a large square that covers most of the build plate using PLA at 45 degrees, which is the recommended temperature for the BIQU Glacier plate with PLA. And the reason for that is simple. The more surface area you have touching the bed, the easier it is to spot first layer adhesion issues. If something's off, you'll see it immediately. You'll see uneven lines, sections not sticking, or even the nozzle dragging against through the print, which might not just be the plate itself, it could also be other settings, but you get the idea. And if your first layer isn't solid, the rest of the print is already going to have a lot of trouble. And surprisingly, that's exactly what happened. My first print came out very, very wavy and I had a big ugly hole in it. So I figured, all right, maybe the plate's just too cool. So I bumped up the temperature a little bit and tried again. I think I went up to like 50 or 55, but I ended up with the same result. So then I switched over to the Bambu textured PEI plate, and to my surprise, I was having the same issue there too. So at that point, I was thinking it was the print model, but that didn't really make much sense because it was literally just a 2mm square. It was nothing fancy whatsoever. So I threw the BIQU plate back on and I turned auto bed leveling on in my settings. You know, right when you press print, you have the option to time lapse, auto bed, and all that. Usually I always have them off for my prints because I'm just trying to hurry up and get the stuff done, and I usually don't have any issues with the PEI plate. But anyway, so I turned that back on and let it do its auto bed leveling before it started the print, and sure enough, my print actually came out a little bit better. I still had some waviness, but that hole wasn't nearly as big, so I did see some improvement. So then I had the bright idea to actually run a full bed leveling calibration, and I dropped the temperature back down to 45 degrees. And this test came out super clean. No issues whatsoever, no waviness. I didn't see any sort of adhesion issues and no lifting, which I mean, I wasn't really expecting because it's just an initial 2mm layer. And that thing was hard to get off the plate. I then compared that with the Bambu PEI plate, and it also finished successfully after I did the recalibration afterwards, but it was not nearly as sticky as the BIQU plate was. I mean, the BIQU plate adhesion was stickier than a damn bathroom at a Diddy party. So my initial layer adhesion test was successful with both plates. For the most part, it was the same, except for BIQU had a lot better adhesion. The issues I ran into was just me being stupid and not going ahead and doing the calibration beforehand. So learn from my mistakes, and if you're going to use a different plate, make sure you go ahead and do your bed calibration, because there could be differences even though the plates look like they might be the exact same dimensions. Just go ahead and always do the calibration first. You can't just throw this on there, which could be a little bit annoying if you're going back and forth between the plates, always having to do that calibration. I don't know how it is with other printers, but with Bambu it takes like 15 minutes and kind of is annoying, but just keep that in mind. Anyways, so then I went ahead and jumped on to test number 2, which is angled support test. So let's check that out. So my next test was an angled support test, which really tested adhesion. The specific tests I ran were described as brutal overhang test with PLA. It's basically a staircase that's running at a 45-degree angle, and honestly reminded me of the staircase hallway in the Harry Potter scenes. But anyways, the goal here is to see how little surface area this plate actually needs to keep a print locked down to it, especially while dealing with stress from the overhang without providing any sort of supports or brim. And going into this thing, I was a little concerned because there's not much actually touching the plate, but this thing surprised me. It held on just fine, and even better, it did it at a lower temperature than the recommended temperature for the Bambu textured PEI plates. I was able to do these at 45 degrees as opposed to what's recommended for the Bambu PEI plate, which is 60 for PLA. And then I went ahead and tried doing something a little bit more difficult. Specifically, I went ahead and printed a chopstick, which was about 10 inches long, angled at a 45 degree with no supports. And I did this with PLA as well and didn't have any issues with the BIQU plate. However, I won't lie, I also did this with the Bambu and it also printed as well with PLA with no issues. So then I went ahead and moved on to testing the same overhang test with the chopstick utilizing PETG. And that's where things took a little bit of a turn. I tried running it several times with PETG on the BIQU at the recommended temperature for PETG, which is 60 degrees, and it ranged up to 75 degrees, and I could not get it to stick. It would get through about 30 minutes and then fall over, and I think it was about halfway done. It would not stick. Now, I don't know if this is because my Bambu Lab A1 is a bed slinger, so it kind of shakes it a lot and causes it to fall over, but I'm not sure that's exactly the case, because as soon as I turned on the brim, just a little brim around it, the chopstick printed successfully with no issues. And when I did it with PLA, I had no issues printing it at all with no support as well. The chopstick printed perfectly fine at 45 degrees with PLA. So I did find that a little weird that with PETG, I could not get it to stick by itself without any brim or supports, but with PLA I could. So just something you'll want to take into account. When it comes to PETG, if you're trying to print a random chopstick at 45 degrees, you might need to at least turn on the brim. And now my settings could have been a little off. I'm not a professional at this, but I couldn't figure it out, and I had printed a billion of these things at this point and wasn't going to sit there and waste more time, especially given the fact that I had a few more tests to run, which is my follow-on test, a warping test. So to try and test warping with this plate, I wanted to go ahead and try something a little bit more interesting than just printing a thick square. That's what a lot of people do. They'll print a thick square because that's going to cause some sort of potential warping between the layers from the bottom up halfway toward the top portion of the print due to the internal stress. That's easy to do, but it's kind of boring. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a cheap and I was just running through filament at this time. So I was trying to find a print that's specifically gonna identify warping without wasting so much filament. And I actually did find one that was interesting. So I found a couple tests that don't use much material, but are really good for exposing warping because of their shape and how little support they have. One was this windmill looking thing here, and the other thing was a random T-wall. And I ran both in PLA, and honestly, I had no issues printing both of these with PLA at 45 degrees with no brim or supports. But then I switched over to PETG after realizing I had PETG issues with the overhang on my last print. And that's where things started to take a turn. I used the same test, same model, and right away I started seeing the edges at the bottom of the print where it meets the plate start to warp a little bit. And I tried running it at all the different temperature ranges that are provided for the plate, and I couldn't get any of them to work. But the second I added a brim, I had no issues. All I did was add a little brim to that T-wall print, and it stuck to the plate perfectly fine with PETG, back at the 60-degree temperature, which is the lowest that it's recommended for this plate. So is that a big deal? Honestly, not really. This test is kind of designed to fail, and I can't think of a real-world scenario where I'd print a shape like this and not expect to have to use any sort of brims or support anyway, nor would I honestly want to. I'm not trying to have my prints fail, so I'm gonna provide the support that's needed. So yeah, not really a deal breaker, but definitely something to keep in mind, especially if you're out there just printing T-walls all day, which, I mean, hey, no judgment if you are. And like I said before, I'm not a 3D printing expert yet. There's probably a lot more I could have done, maybe tweak the speeds, messed with the Z-hop distance and all that. But at a certain point, I was just getting tired of printing all these damn random tests. I mean, I got a crap ton of random prints that I'm probably not gonna do anything with whatsoever. And this is not even like 30% of it. But at a certain point, I was getting tired of printing all these random test models and just wanted to get back to printing my Pokemon prints. Don't judge me, but you can check those shorts out of me building those Pokemon things on my Instagram or in my YouTube shorts. Anyways, let's move on to my final verdict. So does this plate fix every adhesion and warping issue all by itself? Not completely if you're only interested in printing stress test type stuff like I was doing. If you're out there printing random stuff like T-walls or this random 10-inch chopstick I tried with no supports, yeah, you're probably still gonna run into some issues. But for most normal prints, you should have no problem. Now, I do want to be completely honest with you. I ran all my tests and compared them between the BIQU plate and the standard textured PEI plate that Bambu provides. And for the most part, both of these plates were able to print and get the job done. However, there was a difference. The prints on the PEI plate sometimes were barely hanging on, specifically because I was doing stress tests, which really pushed these plates to the limit. Which means for something larger, heavier, or actually important, it might not hold up as well, you know, if you're not using any supports or brim and stuff like that. But the BIQU plate was holding on stronger than LeBron James' hairline. So for basic prints, I'd probably stick with the standard Bambu PEI plate if you've already got a Bambu Lab A1 and you're not doing anything super crazy. But if I'm printing larger parts, more complex stuff that actually matters and it's gonna take a long time to print, stuff that you actually don't want to fail over and over and you don't want any warping issues, then you're definitely gonna wanna go with the PEI plate. If you don't wanna have to worry about any sort of warping and adhesion issues, definitely go with BIQU's Glacier plate. I know that I'll be going with the BIQU Glacier plate from now on until they potentially release something else or I find something better. And this is what I'll be using moving forward. Anyways, if you guys want to check out the BIQU plate, I've got a link down below, which also gives my bro a small kickback. And if you plan on using this plate or are using this plate, let me know down in the comments what your experience is like. I'm actually curious to know how it's been going for you because I've been enjoying these plates so far. And with that, thank you for watching. If you guys are interested in stuff like tech, definitely make sure you subscribe. And if you're really into this channel, go ahead and check out shop.techlogiclounge.com where you can pick up stuff like this tank top, which is guaranteed to give you 10% more gains, or something like my official coffee cup, which is also guaranteed to make your coffee stronger. Trust me, bro. Anyways, I appreciate you guys' support, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.